Hey guys, Miso here. Now, I know at this point a lot of people are probably around the T2, T3 area where you've either just gotten into T3 or you're about to get into T3, probably stuck by Leapstones in T2. Now, a lot of you guys in that phase are probably also thinking, well, when I hit T3 or now that I've hit T3, what are some things that I need to think about or need to know that'll help me progress quicker or prevent me from making any mistakes? Well, I have a couple of pieces of advice today that'll talk about that I hope will be useful to you as you make your journey through T3. So let's get into it. So the first piece of advice that I have has to do with Leapstones. Now, as you probably know from being at the end of T2 or just getting into T3, Leapstones were one of the main gating factors for you to gain item level and upgrade your equipment. Well, in T3, that doesn't go away. Leapstones are still a very, very valuable resource. And with that, I wanted to give you some advice that'll give you quite a bit of Leapstones right off the bat. So the first one is going to have to do with this island called Anguished Isle. Now, I know quite a few streamers and content creators have already made a video about this, so this may be repeat information, but I did want to talk about it because it is a good source of Leapstones. When you do this island, you get a key, and this key lets you do a boss, which gives you a resource that will let you go to the exchange shop. And in this exchange shop, there will be Leapstones. You can buy both T2 Leapstones and T3 Leapstones. Now, the T2 Leapstones are probably going to be for your alt because you can't quite get the resources to buy those Leapstones until you get to T3. But when you're heading into T3, in T2 and even earlier, you could do this island's daily. It's a repeatable daily that'll give you a key that'll let you kill the boss to get these resources. And you'll be able to use these keys once you hit T3. So what you want to do is you want to stack up on these keys, do it every day before you hit T3. That way, when you do hit T3, you'll have all these keys saved up so you could kill the boss many, many more times and get that lump sum of Leapstones right at the beginning. Now, don't worry if you haven't been doing this before T3 though. Luckily, your first clear of the island and the boss, you actually get 2 keys, so you can go in there twice, and that'll definitely be enough for you to buy all of the Leapstones for T3 that they have in the shop. This is a one-time buy, but it's going to be a really, really good sum of Leapstones at the beginning. Now, following that, I want to talk about your first T3 Guardian Raid clear. So the first Guardian Raid for T3 is this big scorpion called Armored Nasrasenka. And for this guy, the first time you clear him, you actually get, as a part of the welcome challenge that's on the top right of the screen next to your map, 150 Leapstones for T3, which is a ton of value. Now you've done the island to get 50, and you've done the first Guardian Raid to get 150, so you're at 200 Leapstones, which is crazy, crazy value considering that Leapstones are selling for around 400 a pop on the auction house. So the third piece of advice I have for you guys has to do with the tripods. So by now, you guys all know that when you level up your skills, you can upgrade these things called tripods. And these tripods will either make your skills do something different, or they'll increase the damage, they'll increase the area of effect, increase the cooldown, attack speed, whatever it be. They're just enhancement to your skills. When you hit T3, your equipment will also have tripods on them, well, tripod upgrades specifically. So for example, you see this shoulder piece has Soundholic Sustain Enhancement level +1 and Rhapsody of Light Quick Rep +1. So if you go to my Soundholic skill, you go to Sustain Enhancement, you'll see that the current level is actually level 2 instead of level 1, which my sound concentration is. And the reasoning for that is because I have this tripod here on my shoulder, which increases the level by 1. Some of them will give 1, some will give 2. Later on, you'll get some +3 ones. But these tripods are on your equipment now. Well, one thing you'll notice is that on my equipment, there are these little tripod icons on the top right. And the reason they have these is because I actually went over here and clicked the settings button and clicked to track these tripods. So what happens is that when there's a piece of equipment, let's say a shoulder, that drops with a tripod that I've highlighted here to track, it will put this little icon on it so you don't miss out on it. If you don't set these tracking notifications, these equipment will not have these tripod icons on them, and those kind of look like these accessories over here. They'll just be normal, like this chest right here, right? It won't have a tripod icon on it because there's no tripod that I've been tracking on this equipment. So in order to make sure you don't accidentally disassemble these tripods, you really want to go and track the ones that you want. Now, for me, the ones that I've already put all on here. If you guys don't know what to do, what tripods are good for you, I suggest that you go on to maxroll.gg to look up a class build, a skill build, and there it'll tell you which tripods you should track as well. So make sure you guys turn these on before you do your first chaos dungeon. That way, when the equipment drops, you can see which pieces of equipment have the tripods that you need. And you can also transfer these tripods later on. The fourth piece of advice that I have for you guys has to do with silver. So up until now, things really didn't cost that much silver. But when you hit T3, upgrading your equipment and the various other things will cost you quite a bit of silver. And as a result, you really want to be able to find a good source of silver income. Of course, you can do that just by playing through the game, but one thing that I do suggest people doing are low-paying dailies. So low-paying dailies are from an island called Low-Paying Island, and they're very, very simple dailies that you can do that'll net you a good bit of silver every day without any effort, pretty much. What you do is you complete this island, it'll unlock the dailies, and all you need to do for these dailies is just talk to NPCs. So let's say you're doing 3 Una's dailies, 3 Low-Paying Island dailies. All you need to do is talk to 3 NPCs in different continents. So what I like to do is I like to do these on my alt. That way I can save the Leapstone or the Shard dailies on my main so I don't lose out on those resources, and then still collect these silver resources on my alts. And also that contributes to my weekly Una's tasks limit as well, which will give me more gold. So I would really suggest you guys do these on your alts, because if you set Bifrost at the different locations of the NPCs, it really is just like a minute of your time on each of these alts to get all these resources. Now, at first it's going to start off very, very little, but later on you will actually get an increased amount of silver based on how far your character is into the game. So for example, if a character is doing this in T1, you'll definitely get a lot lower silver than a character that's doing this in T3. The last piece of advice I have for you guys has to do with the materials you buy in the Endless Chaos Dungeon shop. Up until now, all of the Leapstones, all of the fragments, all of the resources that you use to upgrade your equipment have been untradeable. Well, when you hit T3, that changes. The resources that you get from the shop become tradable. So what I would like to do is I run my Endless Chaos Dungeons and then I sell those materials, because those materials are actually worth quite a bit. Again, like for example, Leapstones, tier 3 Leapstones are like 400 gold a pop. So you can get a ton of these Leapstones and sell them on the auction house and get a ton of money. Of course, you can use them to upgrade your gear as well, but that's up to you. Now, the one catch is that as you buy more of these materials from the shop, it actually increases the price at which you can buy them at. So at some point, there's going to be diminishing returns because you're probably spending too much time doing the Endless Chaos Dungeon and not getting that many materials and that much gold in return. So there you go, guys. Hopefully y'all found that useful. If you did, please, as always, remember, hit that like button, hit the sub button, ring the bell for notifications, leave a comment down in the comment section below. I really love seeing your guys' comments, your questions, and everything. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that I try my best to answer pretty much every question people ask. So don't be afraid to ask questions down there. I really want to see your comments and questions. I really want to help. So please do that. And as always, I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.